All right, welcome everyone to our holiday production of Movement Yoga. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be working with Kathy Cormier this morning. And welcome everyone. If anyone wants something specific in terms of a posture or an area of the body to focus on, please put in the comment section. And as people join in, I'll try to say hi. Anyway, let me introduce Kathy Cormier. How are you today, Kathy?
I'm great. Good morning, everybody.
All right. How's it look in terms of your frame? It looks pretty good.
It
right?
looks good. I think I'm going to have to face this way with the lights, though.
I can turn some lights off. Is it too
But that's
much?
okay. No, I don't mind. I'll just face this way.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. As your dad used to always say. All right. Well, let's get going. I'll invite you to find your feet. Let's bring hands on hips and just march it side to side. From a place of marching side to side, staying rooted through 2 feet, just rocking it from side to side. And then finding your center vis-a-vis side to side. Now I'll invite you to rock your body weight front to back, lifting the toes and lifting the heels, just waking up our feet, waking up our legs. And then staying grounded through the toes and grounded through the heels, but keep rocking it front to back. And then finding your center vis-a-vis front to back. Keeping the knees a little bit soft, but mostly using the ankles as we circle the circumference of the feet. And then taking those circles the other way. Now finding your center from your feet, drawing energy up from the floor through the legs, into the base of your spine, long and tall through the ground. A slight tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin as we start to take our attention inward. And starting our practice this morning, just watching as our breath flows in and out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath. To find a long, slow breath in. Long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for your low back as you move through these shapes and sequences with that abdominal engagement on the exhalation. Now finding a go-to breath in many flow-through practices. It's also a heating breath, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your Ujjayi breath be a focus for your practice, the sound of which often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Now taking the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice, keeping your jaw relaxed and connecting front and back planes of your body. Finally adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall to the ground, hands by your side. Working arms and shoulders as we inhale the arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling arms back down. 2 more times, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders as the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. 1 more time, breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, hands back down. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy, for half sun salutation. Inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. Nice. On the exhale, rounding the spine. You can catch the back of the shins, traction yourself deeper. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching as we fold. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. One more to go here. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back, hinging at the hips, leading with the back of the heart. On the exhale, standing tall. Sun salutation A. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, folding again. I'm not going to cue vinyasa. I'll invite you just to stretch it back to down dog as you come down through one hand, stepping the other foot back. Let's see if you're in frame. That looks pretty good, Kath.
How's this?
Yeah, our Christmas tree disrupted our studio a little bit. Welcome, Kathy.
How's this?
As we hold our down dog, beautiful. I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and out. And feel free to move the dog, feel free to rock the dog. Just tuning into your body, what feels right, what feels tight, what feels somewhere in between. If you chose to add movement, moving back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive as you arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead, leading with the back of the heart, moving towards a flat back. Exhaling, standing tall. The second one I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again, and elbows soft as you cycle through yoga push-up, chaturanga.
Sorry.
Kathy gets into her own practice, which is awesome.
No, it means that I'm thinking about
Other things.
the holidays.
It's all good. Finding your up dog, lifting the hips,
But trying not to.
and then rolling over the toes, back to your down dog. Holidays are good.
Trying to stay in the practice.
Yes, yes. And this is our holiday practice. We'll do another one next week. Christmas tree will still be up.
I have to go buy some eggnog and run.
Oh yeah, we got to decorate that tree. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the back plane of your body, filling it up with your breath, using your breath to find a little more freedom, a little more space in your back. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to arc the back, inhaling. Exhaling, rounding the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back, hinging at the hips, leading with the back of the heart. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more sun sal A. We'll throw the moving plank into the mix to generate a little more heat. It's already getting hot in here. We'll turn the heat down. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold again. And then cycling through vinyasa as you find chaturanga, yoga push-up. Feel free to use the knees or not. Inhaling into a back bend. If the hips stay down, it's a little cobra. If you lift the hips up, you turn it into an up dog. And then either using the knees or rolling over the toes as you stretch it back to down dog. Feeling free to hold your down dog at home for the purposes of generating heat in this room. I'll invite you, Kathy, to come forward to plank pose. Inhaling. Exhaling, navel to spine, lifting hips high. Let's take it slow. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. This third one, let's hold. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Inhale. And on that next exhale, back to down dog. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of strength in the hands as we draw energy up from the floor Shoulders engaged, long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take a jump to the front of your mat. Beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation B, flow style. Inhaling into a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine and grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. And take your time, find your flow. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes as you stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Hands can always find the hips as you find your balance. And then out to the side and then overhead as we find our warrior one. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. Take your time. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Welcome, Barry. Welcome, Joyce. Awesome. And shoulder blades back and down. Nice. And then rolling over the toes. Coming back to an even breath. Long, smooth inhalation in. Equally long, smooth exhalation out. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Feeling free to skip vinyasa and just stretch straight back. Feeling free to find a child's pose. Again, letting your body make the call. Yeah, awesome. And again, whether you're in down dog or child's pose, filling the back plane of your body with your breath. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Hands cap the knees. You want to arc the back. Yeah. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, stay low. Back to our chair. Knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. More strength in your legs. Inhaling, rising on up. A little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. Let's do one more sun sal B. We'll throw a hip opener to the mix. Hopefully you don't knock over the tree. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc. Exhaling, arching, and then grounding down through the hands and making your way back to down dog as you will. Awesome, nice push up. And then the up dog, I really want to feel those shoulder blades descending down towards the hips. Yeah, really open, nice. And then rolling over the toes, back to down dog. Adding the hip opener to our three-legged dog. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder anchored, twisting from the torso, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. The tree looks perfectly fine. And then looking between the hands as we bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead on the inhale. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time, find your flow. Nice hand, shoulder blades. Really feel those scapula retract in towards the spine. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder anchored, twisting from the torso, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Nice. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, inhaling. And then riding your breath back down to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. Awesome. Beautiful. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, feeling that space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length as you arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold. Inhaling, stay low, finding your neutral spine, knees over toes. Back of the head in line with the sacrum. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting that back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll invite you to face the camera cat as you bring hands to heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. Coming back to our internal focus, watching as our breath flows in, and watching as our breath flows out. And then hands by our side. In class the other night, a woman asked if I was a dancer. I said, well, I dance. The reason she asked is I borrow a lot of stuff from Twyla Tharp.
I know.
So our first Twyla Tharp borrowing here, make sure you don't knock the tree over. Soft,
I just
soft.
want to soak into the tree. It's so beautiful.
Soft, soft
Oh, I
knees.
just turn off the lights.
Oh, I turned them off.
Oh, okay.
Some of them. Okay. Soft, soft knees. We're going to work with our fire breath here. Short, sharp exhalations out through the nose. Inhaling, arms up in front. On the exhale, bending the knees as we cast those hands back. Then we'll do 8 because it's so fun. Last 2. And then back up. I'll invite you to either step or jump those feet back in. Beautiful. From here, I'll ask you to go sideways. We'll work Sun South C. We'll start with our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold and making your way back to down dog as you will. Let me try to turn those Christmas tree lights back on because they're so pretty.
I got a little too excited.
Let's turn the window lights off. We'll put Christmas tree lights on. Nice. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is. Lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our warrior one. From here, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips and shifting the weight onto the front foot as you go longer in your stance. Now, if you're already at your max, you'll stay right there. You look like you're at your max. From here, we'll sweep those hands out to the side and high to the sky. From here, pulling silk threads, breathing in as we gather up the energy, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Exhaling, cactus arms. Let's do this 6 times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in breathing out. Last two, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out and holding your warrior one with cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with. I'll invite you to ripple your fingers, keeping your hands supple. From here, let's bring hands to hips. Let's play with our Warrior 3 balance challenge as we spin the back heel up and take either a couple of steps or a big step in. Starting to balance on that right foot any amount. And we've got a rug and we've got a floor here, so you might not go very far as you balance on one leg. Suggested arm variations, keeping your balance as we stretch hands towards back foot, shoulders stretch away from the ears. Sweeping hands wide to the side, wide across the front of the heart. Classic X position, stretching the hands front as if you're holding a large glass ball, and then lifting the face to look through that ball. That's easier said than done. Moving from extension back towards center as we bring hands to heart. And then hands find the hips. Taking a big step back as we find our Warrior 1 prep. And with our hands on our hips, let's turn Warrior 1 hips into Warrior 2 hips. It's okay, you can stay either way. So you're going to square your hips to face the side.
Wait, sorry, I'll go back to the way I was.
Yeah, it's no big deal. So you're going to steer the hips to face side. And then you're going to find one long arm. You might kick that back foot in just a little bit for a narrower stance. Classically, it's heel to arch. From here, painting rainbows. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last two. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in and holding your reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath. And I'll invite you to spread those fingers wide as you find more space in your hand. Beautiful. And then from here, back to our Warrior 2. From here, I'll invite you to find a Rainbow Warrior, a clasp of the hands behind the back, finding that letter U between the two arms. You feel free to use a strap or a towel or tie a piece of cloth. Shoulder blades back and down initially. And then leading with the heart as you take a forward fold inside the front leg. Hopefully don't knock into a present or two. You could use the thigh as a parking lot for the torso, or letting the torso hang free, wherever you choose to work. I'll invite you to do a neck check, just a gentle rock of the head side to side. And then letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor as we stretch out our upper back. In our Rainbow Warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our Warrior 2. From here, transitioning to our triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. We're going to ground bottom hand down either on shin, thumb in line with the shin bone, or you might find a brick or two outside the calf. And if you do choose to use bricks, I don't know about you to find that physical connection, settle this a little bit more, between the brick and the outside of the shin. We can use that top hand to good effect as we rotate our ribs. Now using that hand to open up shoulder. Now stretching hand high to the sky for our triangle pose. Beautiful. As we hold the triangle with every breath in, filling the center of your body with your breath. And I'm so glad you're backwards here because traditionally, we always think front planes, but also feeling back plane and side plane. So it's that whole region in here, gathering energy in that place. As you breathe out, the diaphragm relaxes up to the heart. The air moves out of the lungs on that impetus, finding more length through the arms, the legs, both ends of the spine, as you connect with the pulsation of your breath. From here, I'll invite you to move towards the half moon balance challenge. Top hand finds the hip, softening the front knee as we take a couple of steps or a big step in. Setting your base, right hand off to the right. And again, take your time. Anytime you rush into the balances, it usually doesn't help. When we take our time, though, it usually does help. Lifting that back leg. We can use that top hand to rotate those ribs, opening up shoulder, now stretching hand high. And again, we've got this marvelous illustration with Kathy's back to the camera of filling all planes planes of the body with her breath. So breathing in, big ball of energy in the center of herself. Breathing out, getting bigger in space from the inside out. Coming down easily, top hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance. No big deal, back foot comes down. Shifting the weight into the feet as you bring your hands to your hips. And then shifting weight onto the front foot as we find our warrior two. Now, Kathy moves her back foot a lot because she's very concerned about the frame, which is awesome as a yoga model. At home, generally it's safest always to work from the front foot. From here, I'll invite a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders, spinning back heel up for our low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Awesome. How did that sequence feel, Kathy?
Good.
Good, all right. Let's do a little interlude here. And let's play with that moving plank that we played with before. So I'll invite you to inhale forward to plank pose. Hold it. On the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Couple more times. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. Inhaling, coming forward. I'll invite you to hold it for a few breaths. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And then exhale back to down dog, hugging navel to spine. Moving towards that standing sequence on our second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder anchored, twisting from the torso, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead as you find your warrior one. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. Now if you're already, as long as you're going to get, you stay right there. Otherwise, at home, I tend to go short, shifting weight onto the front foot and stepping the back foot back. And then keeping all that, we can stretch those hands high to the sky, either out front or out to the side. From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to rip the thread. Breathing in, breathing out, cactus arms. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, cactus arms. We'll do 6. Here's 3. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding your cactus arms. And this is a great go-to stretch whether you're on a yoga mat or not. Elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers as we keep our hands supple. Enjoying the stretch, open heart, open throat. And then bringing hands back to the hips as we play with our Warrior 3 balance challenge. Warrior 3. So our hands find the hips, we're going to spin the back heel up. Either a couple of steps or one big step as we bring it on in. And just see what it's like to balance on that left foot. You could work a very minimal Warrior 3. You could even keep tapping that toe down. Otherwise, pitching the body forward as you go a little longer through the legs. Work at a place that's comfortable. Stretching hands towards back foot. Yeah, awesome. Shoulders stretch away from the ears. Beautiful. I think the tree is safe here. Arms wide to the side. Awesome, maybe not. At least we don't have a kitty cat. We just have a yoga cat. And in the classic exposition, we sweep those hands front as if you're holding a large glass ball and then challenging your balance as you lift the face to look at that ball. Any amount. You might just think about moving the face. From extension, moving back towards center as we bring hands to heart. Heart hands become hip hands as we take a big step back, reestablishing our Warrior 1 with our hands on our hips. So that looks a little short, although it looks interesting.
No, I was just saying.
With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips from Warrior 1 hips to Warrior 2 hips. You might kick that back foot in a little bit. Now you're facing camera, it's all good. And then one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. And that's called our drishti, or eye focus. And important part of our yoga because it sets our intention, what we do with our eyes. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last two. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in and holding that reverse warrior. One of my favorite shapes. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath, and then spreading those fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. Interestingly enough, when we find more space in our hands, it goes all the way down to our shoulder. Just noticing that effect. And then turning our reverse warrior back into warrior two. Feel free to use a strap, towel, piece of cloth, Christmas ribbon to join the hands. Otherwise, if your shoulders are relatively open, you can find a clasp of the fingers behind the back. I'll invite you to switch that clasp as you find that letter U. This is a physical therapy for the shoulders. Shoulder blades back and down initially, and then taking your time as you challenge your balance with a forward fold inside the front leg. You might park the torso on top of the thigh. You might let the torso hang free. Wherever you choose to work, I'll invite you to gently rock the neck side to side, just making sure you're not holding any tension in the neck. And then back to center, long through all sides of the neck as the head headies down towards the earth. And then I'll invite you to let those shoulders, any amount, slide down towards the floor, inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth, where it's gone, at least for now. A strong tuck of the chin as you bring it on up, stretching out the back of your neck. Coming back to your warrior two. Transitioning to triangle, thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. We're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs, moving towards our triangle. Either bringing the thumb in line with the shin bone to open up that bottom shoulder, or constructing a foundation of bricks outside the calf. And I prefer the bricks myself, a little more stable, maybe a little less risk to the knee. We can use that top hand to rotate those ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high to the sky. So if I weren't using my phone to film this session, I would take a picture of this and make this a Christmas ornament. Awesome, beautiful. As we hold the shape, breathing into your center, the diaphragm stretches down towards the navel. We've got side navel, we've got back navel, so just gather energy in that place. As you breathe out, the diaphragm relaxes and domes up to the heart as the air moves out of our lungs, connecting the center of our cells with the periphery of the room. And the room doesn't just stop where the walls begin. Maybe imagine that infinite room. From here, moving towards another balance challenge, the half moon. Take your time. Hand finds the hip, softening the front knee. Either a big step or a couple of steps in. You might adjust yourself. For the camera at home, you don't have to do that. Setting your base, I'll move to presence. As we bring the left hand off to the left, I'll always suggest a wider, longer base within reason. The wider and longer the base, the more steady the stance. I would suggest the brick here might be a little more stable. Yeah, presence. Slowly lifting up into the shape. We can use our hands to rotate the ribs. Yeah. Opening up shoulder, stretching hand high. Take your time. I'll move.
Oh, no, it's good. I'm good.
You good? That's my
Yeah.
present for Josephine.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. And again, as you breathe in, gathering energy in your center. As you breathe out, finding more amplitude in the shape from the inside out. And that can be just on a very subtle level. I'll have you land the easy way. Hand finds the hip, back foot comes down, no big deal. Hands find the hips as you bring it on up. Shifting weight onto the front foot as you lengthen your stance, finding your warrior two, one long arm. And then from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as you make your way back to down dog, as you will. And again, there's lots of other options. There's the child's pose. There's an all fours position. Finding a place where you find that balance between your effort and your ease. Wherever you do choose to work, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. Welcome, John. Welcome, Laura. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump. Take a breath to find length in your ride, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold. Inhaling, let's come back to that chair, knees over toes, hands overhead, back of the head in line with the sacrum. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera, Kathy, at home, stay just as you are. As we bring hands to heart, thumb lightly presses against the sternum as we line up each finger. A soft tuck of the chin. And now I'll invite you to add an isometric engagement. Elbows wide to the side, pressing those palms together. Shoulders engaged. A tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin, tall through the crown. Hands find the hips. If the feet aren't already hip width apart, we can get them there. Let's borrow another one from the brilliant Twyla Tharp. Working with our fire breath as we inhale, arms up to one side. On the exhale, exhaling sharply out through the nose, and other side. Couple more each way. And then back up, and either stepping or jumping it on it. Awesome. How do you feel about a tree pose?
Sure.
Kind of perfect, right? We got that Christmas
Yes,
tree right behind
we
you.
do.
Hands find the hips, we'll shift weight to the right. I'll invite you to angle those toes out just a tad so your hip isn't so bound. Shifting weight onto right foot, we can work a kickstand tree. Toes stay down. Why don't you demo that? You want to keep the toes down on the kickstand tree. We could lift the toes up to find a calf tree. Or we could reach down to catch the foot to find a thigh tree. It's going to be hard with our slippery pants on here. I'm going to work a calf tree behind camera. In our tree pose, I'll invite you to stretch hands down towards the floor. Stretching hands out to the side. Now sweeping hands high. Consider lifting the face to look up to the sky. That might just be at an energetic level. Hands up high, find the heart. Hard hands become hip hands. Swiveling that left thigh forward, we'll lift that thigh high with a soft point to the toe for the flamingo. And then leaning a little bit forward without dropping the thigh as we lengthen through the leg. Lifting that leg a little higher. Flexing the foot and landing a cross step. Stealing horse position, lowering our center of balance. Arms out to the side and bent overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. If the hands don't easily reach the floor, grabbing a brick. On the exhale, folding again and holding. As we hold this shape, any amount, I'll invite you to circle your hips. And that could just be an energetic circling, inviting more prana, more life force into your body. Awesome, beautiful. Taking the circles the other way if you haven't already. And then from the cross step, let's come up the safe way as we find our neutral spine, hands find the hips. And then leading with the back of the heart as we hinge on up. I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy, if you can do it. So the left foot is crossed over the right, just so you know.
Thank you.
And then we're going to unwind the legs as we step that left foot back, grounding down through the heels, handstand our hips as we find our warrior one crab. In Warrior One prep, I'll invite you to keep right hand on right hip as you find length on the left side, reaching up. And we're moving towards a twist here. Breathing in, straightening front leg without locking the knee. Breathing out, reach, reach, reach. Breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. We're halfway done here. Breathing in, out. Last two. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, and then reach, reach, reach. We can start the twist with the wrist. Sliding to the elbow, finding your prayer hands, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky.
What's your back foot? Is it in a twist or is it facing up?
What's that, the back foot?
Yeah.
The back foot is grounded down solidly through the heel, back leg strong. From the strength of the back leg, you stabilize the pelvis, and you can find more twist from the mid-back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We're twisted, we're balancing, still finding those long, smooth breaths in, followed by equally long, smooth breaths out. You might lift the chin just a tad, a little more openness in that throat chakra. Coming out of the twist easily as you frame front foot with both hands, spinning that back heel up as you find your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Good choice. Awesome. So Ramos is going to come to the front of the mat at some point, but I want to do another little interlude. So we'll work that moving plank again. You have the energy to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So inhaling forward to plank. Exhaling navel to spine as you lift the hips high. 2 more times. Inhaling it forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. Yeah, take your time. Inhale it forward. We're going to hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Breath in. And then breath out. Lifting hips high. And either holding your down dog, you might walk it, you might sneak in a quick child's pose. Some of you hard chargers may choose to cycle through vinyasa. It really depends on how hard you want to work. And I'll give you time to do that. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tail a little bit higher. More space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low, finding your chair, finding your neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. Beautiful. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. This time finding a clasp of the fingers, keeping the heels of the hands together as we try to pull those fingers apart. A tuck of the chin, a tuck of the tail, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. Borrowing one more from the illustrious Twyla Tharp. If the feet aren't hip width apart, we'll get there. Still working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose as we inhale, arms out to each side. On the exhale, crossing the hands in front, giving those wrists a little flick. And we'll do 8. And we're halfway done. A couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it on in. Tree pose, Christmas tree pose, second side. Hands find the hips. We're going to shift the weight to the left and allow you to angle those toes out just a tad. Yeah, so you might angle the toes out just a little bit, yeah. Does that make your hip feel a little more easeful?
Sure.
Sure. Whatever. And we've got our kickstand. Toes stay down. We've got our calf, or you'll reach down to catch the foot and make it a thigh tree. And then when you're ready, you can play with those arm variations as we stretch hands down. Stretch hands out. We sweep those hands high, maybe lifting the face to look up to the sky. High hands become heart hands. Heart hands become hip hands. We swivel that right thigh forward. We lift it up high for the flamingo, soft point to the toe. And then leaning a little bit forward as we draw energy into our center of balance, lengthening through the leg. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then flexing the foot as you land across step. Lowering our center of balance, stealing horse position, exhaling. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. And again, if the hands don't easily reach the floor, grabbing a brick. Relaxed neck, heavy, heavy head. Letting the shoulders slide down towards the floor. As we hold the cross-legged forward fold, any amount circling those hips, inviting more prana, more life force into your low back and hips. And then taking those circles the other way. Coming up the safe way here, as we bring hands to hips, establishing our neutral spine. And then leading with the back of the heart as we come on up. We'll figure out how to do this. We're going to uncross the legs and step that right foot back as we find warrior one prep. Nice. You might have to adjust yourself in the frame a little bit. In warrior one prep, we're going to move towards our twist. Left hand grounds left hip. That's the hip of the front leg. As we find length on the right side, reaching up. And then reaching out. We'll do that 6 times. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, reaching out. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, reaching out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. And breathing out. 2 more times. Breathing in. And breathing out. I like that variation.
As a tumble.
That's how they invented rubber. It was a mistake. Breathing in. Now we're going to move towards our twist. We're going to reach, reach, reach. We can start the twist with the wrist. Yeah. Keep that length in the torso. Sliding to the elbow. Finding your prayer hands. Either looking down, off to the side, or up to the sky. And I'll suggest lifting the chin just a little bit. Yeah. And back leg is going to be super, super strong. I like to think from the back heel, so really pressing that heel down. Back leg engaged. From the strength of that leg, stable pelvis, finding a little more twist in the mid-back of the thoracic spine.
Not your hip.
I would try to keep the hips stable in most twists.
What if you're feeling the twist here?
That's a good thing. And we want to keep the feeling in the things that should be stretched and not in the sacroiliac joint, which is a stabilizing joint. And we don't want to twist that too much because once it becomes destabilized, it takes a long time to heal. So we don't want our yoga to hurt ourselves. We want our yoga to help ourselves. So it's good that you feel. So when you find a little more stretch over here, this part of the back has to work a little less hard. Coming out of the twist easily, framing front foot with both hands. Spinning back heel up. One more opportunity today to cycle through vinyasa. Your choice. And then back to child's pose. And I'll invite everyone to find a child's pose, just breathing into your back. As you hold the child's pose, I'll invite you to gently rock yourself side to side, releasing those hips, releasing the low back. In a short Shavasana today, I'll invite you to, when you're ready, flipping over onto your back, finding length through your arms, length through your legs, and just letting everything be super, super soft. This is a short one today. Time flies when it's Christmas. It's already the 23rd. What? I haven't sent my presents yet. Beautiful. Yeah. Take your time. sweet. I'm going to turn the lights down a little bit here. I'll invite you to initially focus on your breath in your Shavasana. But as you hold the pose a little bit longer, even letting that focus soften as you draw your senses inside, finding our Pratyahara. Welcome, Jim. So I know this isn't long enough, but I want to keep the class at a manageable length so people can get on with the rest of their day. It is the Christmas season. There's probably still presents to buy, cards to send. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. Moving your mind before you move your body. Bringing your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching the snow as it falls out the window. Or the rain here in San Francisco. Now shaping your breath, finding a long, slow inhalation, followed by a longer, slower exhalation. Finding a more relaxing breath with longer, slower exhalations. Now rippling fingers and toes, inviting more prana, more life force into your body. Inviting that life force in towards center as you gently circle your wrists and your ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Connecting with your intuitive sense of well-being. There it is. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as you draw one knee into the heart and then the other. Using your thighs to gently massage your low belly as you gently rock the hips front to back, side to side, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. Again, connecting with your intuitive sense of well-being. Stretching long through the right arm, rolling onto your right side, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head. Sharing a long, slow breath here. I'll invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth. Softening your jaw, relaxing the sockets of your eyes, softening your brow. And then pushing into your hands, soft tuck of the chin, as you claim a cross-legged sit. As we sit, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga, and as you offer your practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us. Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
And as always, namaste sounds very similar to have a nice day, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, or Merry Christmas if you celebrate it.
Christmas.